You're listening to Scribble Talk, a podcast for bid and proposal professionals. My name is Bhaskar Sundram, and with my co-host,
Ashley Case.
We will be sitting down with our industry veterans to share their stories, discuss their career, and learn how to make an impact in the industry.
Today's guest is Sonya Wooley. Sonya is the president of Mammoth Technologies, LLC, a small boutique proposal firm specializing in proposal management for small business federal contractors. She has over 15 years of experience in business development, proposal preparation and management, and pricing for federal government opportunities. She has generated proposals valued from $25,000 to over $1 billion, acting as both proposal manager and capture manager for small to mid-sized government contracting firms. Sonya has a master's in behavioral science from the University of Houston Clear Lake and received her bachelor's in history from Southwestern University in Georgetown, Texas. She has served as the chapter chair of the Lone Star chapter of APMP for 7 years, served on the international board of APMP from 2015 to 2016, and currently serves on multiple APMP committees. Welcome, Sonya, to Scribble Talk. Great to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Sonya, we're always curious the beginnings of our guests. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school?
I was born in Rahway, New Jersey, but we didn't stay there very long. I think we were there for 2 or 3 years. I really grew up outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so I'm a Steelers fan. My dad was in the oil business. He worked for Gulf, and so we moved around a lot. We moved from New Jersey to Pennsylvania to Texas to California and back to Texas. So when most people ask me where I grew up, I say I grew up in Pennsylvania, but I've been in Texas since high school. So I've been here for over 30 years.
Oh, wow. And then, so you went and you got your, both a bachelor's and master's degree in Texas, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I got a history degree, had no idea what I wanted to do with it. I ended up teaching, which was great. And then I went back to school to get a master's in behavioral science. Again, not knowing what I wanted to do with it, but knowing that even if I stuck with teaching, that I could increase my career path through teaching with a master's in behavioral science.
Oh, very cool. So your first job then was teaching. What was your job after the master's degree?
So I was teaching at the same time I was doing my master's, and of course, teachers don't make a lot of money. So I was working 2 jobs. While I was teaching, I had one job at Barnes & Noble, which was awesome. I loved it. I would work Tuesday nights until close, and then I would work weekends. I loved working at Barnes & Noble. It was a great job. And then the other job that I sort of fell into while I was teaching was bookkeeping. I started working for the family of one of my students doing bookkeeping for their small business. And through that job, I learned QuickBooks and became a QuickBooks Pro advisor, which on a long, convoluted path is what actually led me into proposals.
Oh, interesting. So can you tell us that story, maybe the short version of it?
Sure. So I learned how to work with QuickBooks and became a QuickBooks Pro advisor, which landed me a position with a government contractor in their accounting department. From there in the accounting department, I worked very closely with the CFO on pricing for proposals, which led me into a business development manager role with that company and the full life cycle of proposal development on the support side, because they did have a proposal manager in-house. After I left that company, I left for a full-time proposal manager job. And after I left that company, I went independent. And so that was 2008, and I've been independent ever since.
Oh my goodness, what an interesting entry into the proposal world. It's the first time I've heard kind of, bookkeeping being that entryway.
Yeah, I actually started out in pricing, and I hate to tell my clients that because I don't have time to do the pricing and the proposal management. Right. But I do, even on the proposals that we work for our clients now, I do always check their pricing spreadsheets to ensure that they're accurate. I click through and make sure that the links are all working, but I don't do the pricing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's too much to do both. And, you know, pricing is a full-time job in and of itself.
Exactly. And I'm out of practice too. So I see some of
Mm.
the pricing spreadsheets that pricing managers are putting together these days, and they're so fancy, and it would just take me forever.
Yeah. So you've been in the proposal field a while. I'm sure you have some memorable proposal efforts. Are there any that stand out in your mind?
Okay, I have so many, so I'm going to narrow it down. I'm going to narrow it down to one. The great thing about our little company is that we work with all small businesses. All of our clients are small. A lot of them are family owned or employ their family within the companies. I have a client on Guam, and the first proposal we ever worked for them, a large $45 million IDIQ contract on Guam. And the owner of the company told me when we started working the proposal, he said, if you win this proposal for us, I can have my sons move back to Guam and work in the family business. And that was just so amazing to me, that was his goal, was, hey, you know, his kids had gone off to the States because there wasn't enough work in the family business to keep them employed in the family business. And so when we won that contract for them 6 years ago, since then, both of their sons have come back to Guam and are now working in similar businesses in Guam. And we won that contract again for them last year. So that was a really memorable. And I love that aspect of what I do and working with small businesses, because you can really, you see a difference. I mean, what we do is not glamorous, but when I get on the phone with the owner's sons and I realize, hey, these guys are working in this company because of that first win that we had so many years ago, it's just a great feeling.
Oh, yeah, that personal impact that you can really feel and seeing that kind of tangible effect. And oh, it's amazing. Great work that you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah, and here's another story for you. When my daughter and I went to Nashville, so she could visit a college there, and we were coming back through the Nashville airport, and I had won a contract for one of my clients at the airport, and their employees were there, and we saw the employees that we had put in place through that contract. And I was telling my daughter, I said, look, see that badge he's got in his arm? I work for that company. That's one of my clients. And of course, she's rolling her eyes at me, and she's not impressed at all. But it's, you know, it's you can't replace that, knowing that guy that's working there has a job because of a contract that you won.
Absolutely.
Super cool.
Yeah. Very
it's
cool
so super
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, agree 100%. So before we dig into a little bit more about, you know, your company and APMP involvement, can you tell us 3 things that not many people know about you?
This is really hard. I'm pretty much an open book. I think one of the things that not a lot of people might know is I'm a 2nd degree black belt, used to be an instructor in Taekwondo.
Wow.
I also have some sailing certifications. I'm not sure how many people know that I have sailing certifications, and I have half a toe. I mean, it was really hard to come up with 3 things that I wasn't sure people knew about me.
Oh my goodness, those are very surprising to me. So now I kind of want to dig a little bit into your entrepreneurial journey as president of Mammoth Technologies. You touched on it earlier, but you know, I want to hear a little bit more about that journey and the inspiration and kind of how your company has evolved.
So we started out really small, started out with just me working with one client. And in the last 12 years, we've grown from word of mouth. We're 100% referral from other clients. We've got between 13 and 15 clients now all over the world,
Wow.
all federal contracting on the US side, you know, a client in Guam, Texas, DC, of course, Hawaii. And there are 4 of us that are full-time with the company, and we have another 7 to 9 independent contractors that we use for surge support. We average about 100 proposals a year, which is a lot for a small company.
Yeah.
You know, and 100% compliance on every proposal that we submit. I do not keep a track of our win rate. I just don't think that that's a good reference point for what we do, because our clients are so diverse in the services that they offer. And we've got clients that do grounds maintenance, IT work, security services, American Sign Language. So we bid on a variety of things every day, and every day is different. You know, when we get up in the morning and go through the proposals we have to work on for the day, they might be 5 with very different services.
Oh, that's very cool. Love the variety, right? And it just speaks to how proposal management can be transferred, the skill sets across all industries.
Yes, exactly.
So when did you join APMP as a member?
I believe I joined around 2005. My first conference was the Dallas conference.
Wow. Any fond memories from that first conference?
I won an iPad. I won an iPad from Beth Wingate and Lofeld, my very first conference.
I recall that, you know, Lofeld has some of the best giveaways. I think I won like a Fire TV one year, a Bose speaker that I still use today.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, they do have good prizes.
Absolutely. So over the years, you've become an avid contributor to the Bid and Proposal Conference. Do you remember your first presentation?
So I am not a presenter at the conferences. It's not my my strength. So I am more of a background person at the conferences. I do, you know, try to attend as many sessions as I can, and but I am not a presenter. Part of it is that there are so many experts in what we do. They have, you know, I mean, Bruce Farrell is great at presentations, Mike Parkinson at presentations, Dick Eastham at Microsoft Word. You know, I just feel like there's not a niche that I feel like I add additional value that somebody's not already covering.
Definitely understand that, you know, that we have so many greats in our industry and their presentations are amazing. But I bet you have skill sets in there that, you know, a lot of people would find value of if you ever decided you wanted to jump in.
and to be honest, also, I am scared of public speaking. So there's that.
Yeah, that can make it, you know, quite terrifying.
Yes, exactly.
So you have, though, contributed as a, you know, a leadership position in the Lone Star chapter and also on the international board. Can you tell us a little bit about those experiences?
Right. So I have been the chapter chair of the APMP Lone Star chapter for 7 years. One of the initiatives that I completed my first year as chair was actually to combine 3 Texas chapters together into one chapter. I was originally serving on the APMP Houston board, and we reached out to what was the Lone Star chapter at the time, and we started discussions about merging our 2 chapters. About that same time, the Austin chapter had decided that they were going to fold. And so they had reached out to us and said, hey, you know, do you guys want to merge? And unfortunately, we couldn't do it right at that time. It took us a while to coordinate the 2 boards together, to put together an election, and to figure out how we were going to merge those chapters together. But we did eventually merge all of the Texas chapters into one Lone Star chapter.
Oh, wow. I bet that was a challenging initiative.
It was a lot of fun, though. I knew it was really important for Texas moving forward, and it's turned out great. So what we do now is, instead of having 3 separate chapters, we run regions, and we have regional chairs. So we have a Houston chair, Dallas-Fort Worth chair, Austin chair, San Antonio chair, and we all run our different regions and run individual meetings.
Oh, that's fascinating. I think maybe, you know, some of the other more dispersed chapters could learn from that and maybe take, you know, some sort of like lesson from that to follow, so that you can do some more in-person events for your more local areas.
It works for us, and we are a hybrid chapter because we also do webinars. And what I tell the regional chairs is, I say, if you even have 2 or 3 people show up to a meeting, that's a successful meeting. You've had a meeting. You know, just keep going at it. Do whatever you want to do for your region, whatever you feel like works. For DFW, for example, we rarely have speakers, but we meet in a winery, so that's super cool. But Houston always has speakers, and they have a 2-hour luncheon. In DFW, we do a happy hour. Austin mixes it up, and they do different things different months. So it's really, the regional chairs are free to do whatever they want, whatever they feel like works for their region, and whatever they've got time to commit to.
Oh, wow. That's super cool. I love that structure, and it sounds like it's working out really well.
I think it is.
So you were also on the international board, right?
I was on the international board for 2 years. I served my 2-year term, and that was really interesting.
Very cool. And you continue to serve on some committees?
I do. I'm currently on the Intentional Pathway Committee with Kristen McComber, and that committee is designed to promote the pathway of proposals, a pathway to the profession and then through the profession. And so we're targeting universities in the way that we can assist chapters work with universities to promote our profession and to really explain what it is and show that it's an option for college graduates. And that's a relatively new committee, and we've got some really great, exciting goals, and it's a super fun committee where it's a great group of people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great initiative.
Yeah, it's so important, right? Because it's interesting hearing, you know, some of these people we interview, and they're like, if I had known this was a career path, I could have done things differently. Or if I knew there were best practices earlier on, I would have, you know, saved 5 years of learning how to do things the wrong way and things like that. So having it as an intentional pathway, I think, will be really critical for the future of, you know, the profession.
Right. How great would it be to have the next generation of proposal managers that don't say, I fell into this career? You know, so that it's a great committee. I'm so glad that Kristen has chosen this as her initiative for her vice chair and chair year. And so I'm really happy to support that committee. I'm also the chair of a new committee called the Knowledge Management Committee, and we're just now getting kicked off and getting an idea of what our goals are going to be. But our intention is to collect and store and edit and update all of the knowledge management that's out there for APMP, all of the documents that are on the website, anything that is a reference document for APMP in general. We're collecting them. We're going to edit them as necessary, update them, and either post them back on the website or make them available as references to chapter leaders and even members. So
wow.
Yeah. So that's my committee, and it's brand new. We've only had 2 meetings, so we're still in the introductory phase of figuring out how we're going to collect all these documents and who to ask for additional documents, and then we're going to actually start working through the documents.
Oh my goodness, that is an undertaking, but it's such a critical, you know, role. And, you know, we talk about knowledge management with proposals, and, you know, sometimes we forget about it in the committees and the things that we're supporting, but making sure that, you know, our SOPs are up to date and our processes and these tools available to, you know, our members are current and up to date and clean and available. So awesome initiative. Very excited for that.
I think it'll be a good one. And there's a lot of crossover with that committee and the other committees that I'm on. So, you know, for example, I'm also on the chapter liaison committee because, you know, 2 committees isn't enough. And so a lot of the documents that we're looking at in the knowledge management committee are what I would say owned by the chapter liaison committee. So, and we've got some crossover with members on the committee as well. So we've got some great documents there that we can start with. So there's some crossover with the committees as well.
Oh my goodness. How do you find time in your day to do work, Sonya?
I don't know. I I have so many emails. My goal every day is to keep my inbox under 100 emails. But there are days that I have 100 APMP emails and I just look at that folder and I say, I've got to stop volunteering for stuff. I've got to stop coming up with good ideas, because every time I come up with an idea, the next thing I know, somebody's saying, okay, you go do that.
Then you just have to learn to delegate.
Right. That is not one of my strong sets.
Goals for the rest of 2020.
Yeah, no kidding.
Or maybe stop sharing the ideas in the first place.
I know. Maybe just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, Sonya, that's an awesome transition over to what was previously our surprise rapid fire questions round. Because of Howard's recent passing, we've changed that to the Nutters round.
That's so sweet.
This is a very special round, particularly for Bhaskar, Howard being his mentor.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So this is the first episode where we actually rebranded it from rapid random fire into Nutters round, because as you know, Howard is such a happy person, and he can crack jokes on anything and everything. So his loss is a personal and professional loss for me. But you know what? Let's keep listening to him at every episode. That's the plan.
Yeah, that's so great.
Okay, tell us about your hobbies and interests outside work and APMP voluntary positions, Sonya.
So I like to work out. I like to mountain bike. I love to go on vacation. Love to read. I love to go sailing, but I haven't done much this year. It's way too hot.
Wow, what's the favorite sailing experience that you had?
Oh, I love our family vacations to the British Virgin Islands, when we rent a sailboat and just take off for 10 days and just go from island to island. Great trips.
Gorgeous. The British Virgin Islands. Is it in the States? Is it? I have no idea where the graph is.
It's down by Puerto Rico. There's two sides. There's the American side, the US Virgin Islands side, and the British side, but they're very close together. So you can go back and forth between the two sets of islands. You just have to go through customs.
Got you. That's an interesting, because I hardly look at the geography. I assume British Virgin Islands is close to Britain, but it sounds like
no.
It's not.
No, next to Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow. Something I learned, and I'm sure many people might have learned it as well. Mountain bike, that's a hardcore sport. I mean, like, do you normally take it on a daily spin or weekly spin, or you go look for some fine parts? How do you entertain yourself?
I would love to say I do it on a weekly spin. I have not been finding time to do it lately, but I'm a big chicken, so I don't do nearly the mountain biking that I would do 10 years ago. I'm just too afraid of breaking something, but I do try to go, at least twice a month. Right now it's way too hot in Texas, but I do try to go twice a month.
And do you take the bike and go for a specific place on you, or is it always like adventure trips?
No, specific places. I follow trails. There's a couple of trails within about 25 minutes of my house that I rotate between.
Wow, that's great. So workout, how often do you work out, and what type of workouts do you do?
I try to work out 5 days a week. I love Olympic lifting, so I try to do one extra day of Olympic lifting a week with my trainer. I currently go to a gym called F45, which is it's basically a 45-minute workout, and we do what are called Tabatas. We just do a bunch of Tabatas. So you basically work out for 45 seconds, rest for 15 seconds, switch to a different activity.
Gotcha. I do the same as well, 5 days a week. Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
It's awesome, isn't it? It's great.
You start with it, and then you don't have a choice. You just need to go with it. Then you just keep it.
Yeah.
That's nice. So that's great. And Olympic lifting, that sounds very unique. How did you get into that?
So I used to do CrossFit, which was a lot of heavy lifting. Yes. And while I don't miss CrossFit, the one thing I miss about it is the heavy lifting. I miss the deadlifts and the snatches and the overhead presses. Wow. And so since we don't do a lot of really heavy lifting at F45, just because there's not time.
Yeah.
I do like to put in that extra lifting. I just like lifting heavy stuff. Makes me feel good.
Nice. What's the heaviest lift you kind of lifted?
Oh, I don't, I know my deadlift used to be 250 pounds, but I haven't done it in a while, so I'm not sure if it's that heavy anymore. I'll have to get back to you. I have to try it this week and see how heavy I can lift.
That's brilliant. And your dogs, I'm sure they are patiently listening to you nearby or somewhere. What's the name of them?
So we have two English Labrador retrievers. Their names are Truman and Reagan. We have a presidential theme going on. And today is actually Reagan's birthday. He turned 2 today.
That's nice. Happy birthday, Regan. It's my late father's birthday as well. So I will remember today.
Oh.
So if you ask your dogs, Truman and Regan, tell us about Sonya, what do you think they will tell Sonya?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Get into their minds.
That's a really hard question. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Reagan thinks I'm a permanent pillow. I probably shouldn't admit this, but he sleeps on my head. Okay. He's 90 pounds and he sleeps on my head. So I'm pretty sure he thinks I'm a pillow. I'm pretty sure Truman just thinks I'm a food source.
Right. That's so funny. Wow. Okay. So what question would you like to ask your dogs if you think that they can answer?
Why do they eat the things that they eat? Why do they go in the backyard and eat grass? They're not cows. Why do they eat things out of my study?
Okay. Maybe they are healthy. They watch your healthy programs or something, salads. They think maybe they should eat the greens. Wow, that's interesting. So how are you coping with the isolation or lockdown now, Sonya?
So far, so good. I always did work from home, so it hasn't been that much of a tradition to continue working from home.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it was definitely tougher on my daughter because when school ended, she was a sophomore in high school and she missed out on a lot of her extracurricular activities for the end of the school year. And so I think it was harder on her than the rest of us. For me, not much has changed. I don't go into the grocery store anymore. I pick up my groceries. But other than that, I've always worked from home. So I just continue to work from home.
Got you. The Taekwondo black belt, Sonya, do you have any experience of using that in real life as somebody tried to do something and then you did a good kick?
Oh, thank goodness, no.
Yeah?
No.
So how long have you been practicing it? Is it something you started when you were young or?
So I haven't practiced in quite a while, but I didn't start until my 30s. So I did Taekwondo for about 10 years. And at the time, my daughter was a baby. And so she got forced to do it as well. And so, but by the time she was 8, she got her black belt. And at that point, she had gotten really interested in soccer. Wow, and so we had to make a decision. She had to make a decision. Do you want to continue with Taekwondo or do you want to go into a club soccer program? And she chose to go into club soccer, and we didn't have the time. There aren't enough nights in the week for us to keep up both of those activities.
I can imagine. That's great. So who was your favorite teacher and what was your favorite subject at school?
I would say from my history degree, what I really enjoyed is I enjoyed the historiography courses that we had to take as part of our graduation program. And we also had to do a seminar. We had to basically present a thesis. And so that was a really interesting year.
So for my master's program, I loved neuropsychology. I loved learning about testing, IQ testing. I thought if I didn't continue its teaching, that was something I was interested in doing. Were performing IQ tests and aptitude tests and achievement tests. I thought that was a super interesting field as well. So I really enjoyed those classes.
Got you. And if you can invite a guest from history somewhere in the past to have a chat, which historical guest would you invite?
I'm going to go with the first thing that comes to my mind, and I'm going to say Ernest Hemingway. I just finished reading another Ernest Hemingway book.
Okay. And what would you talk to him?
I would just listen to him speak. You know, his style of writing is so unique and different than anything else. It's you know, you read it, and his sentence structure is simple yet incredibly effective. His relationship building is incredible. It happens so quickly before you even realize. He's just got some of the most amazing books.
100%. So if you could time travel, when would you go and where would you go?
These are really hard. If I could time travel, I'm going to go back to the dinosaurs. I'm going to see dinosaurs.
Nice. Okay. Are you a fan of dinosaurs as well?
I love dinosaurs. I love Jurassic Park. I could watch Jurassic Park every day.
Oh, okay. I had a question. Which movie would you watch time and time again? I will remove that question because I've got the
Jurassic
answer
Park.
already. Jurassic Park. Nice. So if you are attending a Halloween party, what would be your costume and why?
These are really hard questions.
We are being nice to you.
You're being nice to me. Oh, my Halloween costume. I have no idea.
No?
I can't think of the last time I even dressed up for Halloween.
Oh, no.
I think the last time I dressed up for Halloween, it was probably when my daughter was 3 and we had matching costumes.
And that was what costume?
We had this kind of witch costume. It was a black dress with a black cape that went over our heads. It was really pretty.
That's
But
good.
it was the witch costume. She never dressed up with me again.
Aw.
Oh, God. So if you could visit any place in the world right now, where would you choose to go and why?
Okay. I'm supposed to be in Iceland today.
Oh.
Yeah. My mom and I had planned a mother-daughter trip. Today was supposed to be our second day in Iceland.
Oh, that's so sad. But you can reschedule. Hopefully, you know, we will come out of this by end of this year, and you could reschedule at some point next year or something, Sonya?
Yes. We're planning on going next summer instead.
Oh, God, yeah, that's it. So you already mentioned that public speaking is not in your comfort zone. Is there anything else that takes you out of your comfort zone?
This conversation? This is definitely out of my comfort zone. This is something that I had to force myself to do.
Oh, I remember that. You were at the very early. You should have been in episode 15 or something. Sonya. Now you're in episode 59.
I know. We started this process so long ago, and I put it off for so long.
But brave you. Well done, you. Thank you for joining. I think it's a brave decision. So if you are given a chance, who would you like to be for a day?
I'm going to go with the Queen of England.
A Queen of England? Which one? Elizabeth II?
I'll go with Elizabeth II. She seems pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God, she's doing really well. It's hard for her to see through what's happening around her. Sad on that perspective. But from what she started, I think in 1950s all the way now, my God, she has seen so much. So yeah, that's great.
She's an amazing figure.
Yes. What personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
My inability to filter my mouth.
I think we all say that. But on this particular episode, we can edit it. It can be happily say anything, and we will be absolutely love to edit it. Don't worry.
It's probably my inability to filter the first thing that comes out of my mouth, and a lot of times that can be a little harsher than I intend it to be.
Yes.
But also the thing about me is that I forget within 30 seconds what I was upset about, and I get over things very quickly. So I kind of had to, hopefully that everybody that works with me knows that even if I sound like I'm irritated with you, just wait 30 seconds and I will no longer be irritated with you.
That's a good one. So I was planning to ask you, what do you do when you get angry on your family members?
I hardly ever get angry at my family members.
Nice.
I have an amazing family. My husband and my daughter are incredible.
Okay.
I don't get, I mean, honestly, there very rarely, very rarely do I even have to get on to my daughter about anything. She's a really great kid.
Oh, wow. That's impressive. Well done. Yeah. So you are blessed with a beautiful family there, Sonya. Maybe it's just like reciprocity. Maybe they see through, so they are nice to you because you're nice to them. So.
Well, I think that we just, we let a lot of things go in our family. We don't let things rise to the occasion of screaming and yelling. My husband is probably going to disagree with this, though. He's probably going to listen to this and roll his eyes and think that my daughter and I yell at each other all the time. So there is that.
I'm sure he will say, do you remember the time, Sonya, you said this?
Yeah, he's going to listen to this. He's going to roll his eyes and he's going to say, you and your daughter yell at each other all the time.
All the time, exactly. That's good. So that's normal, though. So who's the kindest person you know?
So my daughter is probably one of the kindest people that I know. And my daughter and I are very much alike, but what we always say is that she's exactly like me, except she's nice.
Aww.
She's got, she's incredibly smart and driven and self-motivated, a great student, a great athlete, but she's also super kind and accepting of people, and never has a bad word to say about a friend. She's a really super kid.
That's amazing. How was it even possible, Sonya, that she learned to be kind looking at the mom?
She did not get it from me.
Oh, it's good. I'm sure she's teaching you every single day. Then I have the same thing at home. I wish I can be my kids, they teach me every single day. So that's great. So what's the biggest lesson life has taught you so far?
Oh, to be adaptive.
Mm.
Just because life takes a turn, takes you down a path that you weren't expecting to go, you adapt to it and you move on. You can't let, you can't take life too seriously. You can't take challenges too seriously. A challenge, you can't let it derail you. You just got to move on. When bad things happen to everybody. You just move on and appreciate the good times even better. Appreciate the good things that happen in your life even more. Don't ever take life too seriously. Just enjoy the moment, live for the moment.
Oh, that's a brilliant advice. So what have you observed lately in this COVID crisis that reminded you that people are kind?
Maybe it's just my view of the world, but I always think that people are kind. I don't see the negative in people, and maybe that's just because I gloss over it, and maybe people will think that's naive, but I'm always looking for the good in people. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a bad moment that they regret. Just appreciate people for who they are, who they can be. And you never know what's going on in somebody's home. You never know what challenges they're facing. And so I always look for the kindness in people.
And who are the people who have been the most influential in your life and career?
So I'm going to give my mom a lot of credit here. My mom is an amazing woman. I think I got my work ethic from her and my drive for success. My mom, raised 2 kids, went to law school. She has a degree in physics from Carnegie Mellon. And I remember asking her once, we were talking about her helping my stepson with physics at one point, and she says, oh, well, I hate physics. I don't like physics. And I said, Mom, you have a degree in physics from Carnegie Mellon. And she said, oh, yeah, the only reason I got a degree in physics from Carnegie Mellon was because it was the hardest thing I could choose, and I wanted to prove that I could do it.
Wow.
So definitely, I hope I got my work ethic from my mom. From a career standpoint, there's so many people that have had an influence on my career. my first boss in the government contracting business, Elizabeth, I definitely give her a lot of credit. She introduced me into this business. She taught me everything I know about pricing and proposals, and really jump-started my career and gave me a chance on something that I didn't know anything about. And so I definitely give her a lot of credit. And then within APMP, there's so many people. Jeanette Waldy. Jeanette Waldy is, I remember when I first met her, she was one of the first people I met in APMP, and I thought she was a rock star. I still think she's a rock star. She has had an incredible influence on my career. She really got me passionate about APMP and originally got me into volunteering with APMP, and everything I've done at APMP is a reflection on her initial enthusiasm and opening that door for me.
That's great. I think you have been an avid contributor to APMP. Why do you think people should be part of APMP as a member or a board member, or join the board as a member?
Oh gosh, because it is the professional organization for our career. It is exactly where we should all be. We should all be learning from one another, engaging with our community, improving our craft, opening doors for the next generation of proposal managers. This is our career. This is what we do. We should all be involved in APMP.
That's great advice.
All right, Sonya, it's been so nice to learn about your career, learn a little bit more about you and your family and the influences you've had. Looking back, what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your proposal career?
I wish I had known how good I would be at this career. I love what I do. It is so engaging and challenging and rewarding. And that's one of the great things about being part of the Intentional Career Path Committee, is that we get to take all those lessons learned of things that we wish we knew when we started, how great of a career this can be, how engaging it is, how challenging, how thought-provoking, and just how interesting it is and how every day changes. We can take all of those things that we wish we knew the day that we started, the first year, 2 years in, and we can introduce others through that path.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Such a great initiative, and, taking that, thing that so many of us wish that we had and helping the next generation have that. It's just so great. So over the years, what is the best piece of advice that you've received, and who gave it to you?
Probably the best piece of advice. I've gotten a lot of really great advice from both Nigel Dennis and Robin Davis over the years, because they're both own their own proposal management firms as well. Mm-hmm. The one that always sticks with me and that I hear myself quoting in my head is when Nigel tells me I need to work on my business, not in my business. And so I think about that a lot.
Yeah, very good advice. So what advice would you give to someone wanting to pursue a successful proposal career?
So this is something that I present to the University of North Texas. One of the initiatives that we have here is I go into the University of North Texas upper level technical communications courses and talk about proposal management as a career and the ways to get into it. And the advice that I would give, that I do give to those college students, is work on your technical writing skills, work on your ability to write material that's outside of your comfort zone or your level of of understanding. So you're going to have to stretch your understanding of material. You're going to have to research, you're going to have to learn new things, you're going to constantly have to evolve that knowledge so that your proposals improve over time. And also don't discount that you need to have the ability to work in Microsoft Word, especially. Thank goodness for Dickism. I use something that I use something that I've learned from Dick Eason every single day. If my proposals look professional and polished when they're done, it's because I learned from Dick Eason. Learn Microsoft Word. Yes, InDesign is a fabulous program as well, but not everybody uses InDesign in the proposal world. So learn how to use Microsoft Word and PowerPoint and put together simple graphics when you don't have a graphics designer, and then just constantly be evolving in your career, constantly be learning, engage with APMP, attend as many webinars as you can, read all of the articles that you can, and just constantly improve your knowledge.
Oh yeah, amazing advice. Those students in North Texas are really great to have you go and visit them.
We have a really great relationship with the University of North Texas.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So Sonya, I'm curious, what's next for you? What are you looking forward to in the future?
So I am looking forward to December and retiring from my role as the chair of the Lone Star chapter after 7 years. Yay! Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I am going to become the special projects chair. And so I will focus on the Texas conference that we're going to host. We're going to have a regional conference, rescheduled, of course, from this year. So I will focus on that, and I will focus on special projects, but I will take a backseat to the leadership in the chapter. And I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to continuing my work with the committees that I'm on. I do need to pick up my professional certification again and work on that again. I've kind of set that on the back burner.
Yeah.
My daughter graduates from high school in 2 years, so I plan on spending the next 2 years spending as much time with her as I can and attending all of her school events and just enjoying those last 2 years. And then, and then I've always said after she graduates from high school, I would like to run for chair of APMP. So I can see myself doing that in the future. Not sure when that will happen, but I can see that as a possibility.
Oh my goodness, so much exciting for you coming up and in the next few years for sure.
That's great, Sonya. Sonya, is there any part of your life or career that we haven't touched, or is there anything else you would like to share?
I don't think so. I think we've touched on a lot.
And thank you to your dogs and your lawn person and your
It's been nice and quiet in the closet.
That's brilliant, Sonya. So thank you so much for your time. I know it took a while, but it's really been an absolute pleasure and privilege to have you with us at Scribble Talk. We wish you all the good health and happiness to your family, colleagues, members of APMP, and everybody around you. Please continue to inspire people and stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Please visit batchuscribble.com/podcast to listen to this episode and check out any of our other previously recorded episodes. If you've enjoyed today's interview, don't forget to subscribe, review, and share the Scribble Talk podcast. We hope you'll check out our next episode where we interview another industry expert and special guest. Until then, it's Ashley Kays,
Pastor Sundram,
signing off.